Hi everyone, my name is Kayla and I'm a physiotherapist at Sports Center Physiotherapy. Today I'll be going over the importance of mobility and how we can help improve our mobility. So, what is mobility? Mobility is movement. Think of a snake. Stability is the ability to resist movement. Think of a cement block. If a shoulder is too mobile, it dislocates, and if it's not mobile enough, then we can't brush our hair. So we need mobility to help navigate us through our environments. You need a combination of both mobility and stability to be healthy. Certain joints are more mobile, such as the hip and shoulder, and others are more stable, such as the knee and elbow. Although there are normal ranges that each joint in our body should be able to move through, everyone will be a little different compared to the next. Some people need to be very mobile, such as a dancer compared to someone who likes to sew. As well, some people may be very mobile and others may have difficulty maintaining that mobility due to, for example, genetic differences. Although we can't change the genetic differences, we can perform exercise to help maximize our mobility. Prolonged sitting is an example of how we can create limitations, and this can get worse as we age and become less active. Thus, mobility training will be helpful to ensure that we can maintain the flexibility to help us perform our daily and leisure activities. You may be wondering, when do you need mobility? You may notice that some of your joints feel stiff or tight. This happens when we are overtired, overtrained, or a surrounding joint isn't doing its proper job. For example, your shoulder may be getting sore, but it may be because you don't have the mobility through your thoracic spine to allow you to reach your arm up. Or your knee may be getting sore, but this could be because your ankle is stiff and would benefit from mobility training. So, in this video, I will be going over 3 parts of the body, including the thoracic spine, the hip, and the ankle, and I will show 3 to 4 exercises for each joint, progressing in difficulty. Let's begin with the thoracic spine. Looking at this skeleton here beside me, this is the back view. The thoracic spine is the area between the neck and the low back. So it begins here and would end in this area. So this is an important area to work mobility. The thoracic spine is important to help our posture and neck and shoulder movements. So the more mobility we have in this area, the better the surrounding structures can function properly, such as the low back, the shoulders, and the neck. It is common that over time we get stuck in our slump forward position, which can cause us to become stiffer in this area. This can be an issue as it can lead to restrictions in the ability to lift our arms, which can then lead to shoulder impingements. To test your thoracic mobility, stand up against a wall, tuck in your tailbone, keep your back against the wall, and see if you can reach your arms above your head. Make sure not to flare your ribs out or arch your back to get your arms up. You may notice that one arm may not be able to get as high as the other. This may be the side that you need to focus your mobility on. You can also perform this test on the floor. Make sure to keep your back on the ground and see how high you can reach your arms above your head. So since our thoracic spine is also connected to our rib cage, a great way to start with thoracic mobility is through deep breathing. You want to sit nice and tall, with your feet firm on the floor, put a hand on your belly, take a deep breath in through your nose, and then breathe out through your mouth. You can also perform this exercise with your hands on your ribs. So what you want to see on this exercise is that you place your hands right on the side of your ribs, and whenever you take a deep breath in, your fingers should expand outwards, and then whenever you breathe back out, they should return back to neutral. So if I take a deep breath in, then you're getting that rib and thoracic mobility through this exercise. This exercise focuses on thoracic rotation. Sit with your feet elevated so that your knees are slightly above your hips. Cross your arms across your chest. Then rotate to look behind you. You should be able to see the wall behind you, or if someone was behind you, they'd be able to see your 2 eyes. If you have difficulty achieving this exercise may be a benefit to you. Some may not be able to reach the mobility to see behind them, but you can still be able to improve your thoracic mobility with this exercise. You may make this exercise harder by putting one hand on your knee and the other behind you and giving yourself a slight pull. It may also help to get further if you take a deep breath in as you did in the previous exercise, and when you exhale, you should be able to get further throughout the stretch. This exercise is to help improve your thoracic extension, which also plays an important role in raising your arm and supporting your posture. Lie on your stomach with your elbows bent and hands by your shoulder. Push through your arms to raise your chest off the floor. Try to bring your chest bone forward and feel a stretch through your mid-back. Looking at the front of the skeleton, the hip is where the long bone of the femur and the pelvic bone connect, so this joint right here. Having good hip mobility is important for many activities such as walking, running, squatting, and many other functional exercises. Having good hip mobility can also reduce the stress on surrounding structures such as the knee and the low back. A good way to test hip mobility is a squat. You can try to see if you can squat by pushing your hips backwards to 90 degrees by getting your thighs parallel to the floor. Ensure to not bend through your knees and to maintain an upright posture. If you have difficulty reaching 90 degrees, you may benefit from hip mobility training. In this exercise, we're going to work on hip internal rotation. So it's our ability for our hip to move this way. So to exercise that, we are going to hold something between your knees. It can be a small ball, it can be a pillow, it can be a pen, whatever you can find laying around. You're going to put that between your knees, and then you can take both legs at once, and you're going to try to bring your feet apart, keeping the ball or object between your knees still. And you can take it back, bring your feet back out, and then bring it back. You shouldn't have any thigh movement in this. We don't want to cheat by lifting up our leg off the bed. If that happens, the object will likely fall. So we will continue to do this exercise without any thigh movement. You can also do a single leg rotation. To begin a hip flexor stretch, bring one leg forward, squeeze your bum, and push your hips forward, feeling a stretch through the front of your thigh. This is an important stretch as we often get tight through our hip flexors, for example, from prolonged sit-in. Stretching your hip flexor will help promote hip extension, improving your ability to walk and run. Another area of our hip that is commonly tight is our adductors, also known as our groin. To stretch this area, stand with your feet twice your shoulder width apart, your toes pointing forward. Lean into one of your legs. The straight leg, you should feel a stretch on the inside of the thigh. And you may repeat this exercise on your other leg. You may notice a difference between your two hips. The ankle is the joint between the leg and the foot, so this joint right here. Similar to the hip, the ankle is important for running, walking, squatting, and many other functional exercises. In walking and running, we need to be able to lift our foot through an appropriate range to clear our toes when we swing our leg through. We have tendencies to lose this mobility in our ankle. If we are unable to reach that range, then our knee and foot will have to work harder, leading to further foot and knee pain as a result. In the same way, our ankle provides a similar effect in our ability to squat and get to the ground, for example, to pick something up. If we are unable to bend through our ankle, this increases the pressure through our knee and leading to further knee pain. A way to test your ankle mobility is the knee to wall test. Position yourself straight in front of a wall and place your toes up against the wall. Keeping your foot, knee, and hip straight, see if you're able to get your knee to the wall without lifting your heel off the ground. If so, scoot your foot back a bit further and continue to see if you can touch the wall, keeping your heel on the floor. The normal range should be 4 inches from toes to wall. You can measure this with a ruler or make a mark on the floor. Make sure to test both ankles to compare and see if one may need more mobility than the other. If you are having difficulty reaching the wall, here are a few exercises you can try at home to promote ankle mobility. An easy exercise to start with is just sitting in the chair, slightly extending your knee, and working on bringing your toes towards you and away from you. The calf muscle can become tight and limit our ankle mobility. The calf is made of 2 muscles that will be important to stretch, the soleus and the gastrocnemius. This exercise will focus on the soleus. Stand in front of the wall, keeping your foot, knee, and hip straight. Bring your knee towards the wall. Be sure to keep your hip and knee square while performing this stretch. Ensure when performing this stretch you don't bring your hip forward and your hip and knee stay square to the wall. This stretch will be for the gastrocnemius muscle, also known as the gastric muscle. Have the leg you want to stretch behind the other. Keep both of your feet forward and your pelvis level. Your front knee is bent and the back knee stays straight. Use the wall for support and lean into the wall to feel the stretch in the back of your calf. Make sure your heel stays on the ground throughout this exercise. The last exercise I want to go over is a squat. The squat is important for both hip and ankle mobility. You want to bend through both of these joints and avoid bending through your knees when performing this exercise. When performing this exercise, you want to ensure you push your hips back and get to 90 degrees. You want your thigh to be parallel to the ground to reach the 90 degrees. Make sure you don't lean forward. If you tend to lean forward in your trunk as I do, try holding a small weight or object to help control your core. If you're having difficulties with this exercise, you may also perform this with a chair. Set a chair behind you and squat back into the chair. It's also important to remember whenever you stand up to squeeze your glutes to get your full hip extension. You can also use the armrests for support if needed. So with your squat, you're able to improve your hip and ankle mobility by improving the depth of your squat. Whenever you do your squat, see how far you can push your hips back and then continue to progress. These are all exercises that we can incorporate into our daily routine, whether it's doing it at your desk at work, incorporating it into your warm-up or cool-down for your workout, doing them at commercial breaks, or even just putting them in your morning routine. Do what works best for you. When doing these exercises, it's important to know that these reps are general recommendations. You shouldn't have any pain and you should only perform the amount of reps that you can maintain proper form. It's important to do your mobility exercises daily to get proper gains, and you should also perform all your other exercises through full range of motion. There are other ways that we can improve our mobility, including foam rolling, ball work, or massage therapy. To find out more info, or if you have any questions or concerns about these exercises, would like an assessment, or any general questions, please reach out to your physiotherapist or give us a call at Sports Center Physiotherapy to book your appointment.